Hey, Chris or Mike, whichever one of you guys can take this. This is Dave from the Post and Courier. Just how do you guys feel about the team and its flow on offense going into this game against Ole Miss?
Oh, we feel great. The coach is getting us ready. Coming in yesterday to practice, everybody was enthused about the league play, so we're really excited. We're getting ready for that.
Yeah, what Chris said, everyone's excited to play, going into league play, a lot of new guys, so it's their first time playing in SEC, and we got to get ready for that.
And with that, Mike, I mean, being two of the older guys on the team, how much are you stressing to the new guys that this is an 18-game hurdle, and you know that you can't really afford to get tired right now?
Yeah, that's right. We can't afford to get tired. We just got to make sure the new guys know that it's going to be a tough time, that we got to fight through it, but also we got to have fun, a fun time doing it.
Hey, Chris and Mike, it's Andrew from the state. What, if you guys were to pick kind of one area that you want to improve on, or maybe the team has been discussed about things to improve on heading into SEC play, what do you think it would be?
For me, it would be definitely defensive rebounding. We've gotten beat by Coastal Carolina and Clemson in rebounding, so that's where, especially me and a lot of the other bigs, have to get better at.
For me, I would say the same thing, rebounding, but I could improve on everything else. But working on my shot too, because lately we haven't made shots. Our defense is good, but during the game we need to make shots if we want to win games.
Hey, Mike, it's John Del Bianco with the Big Spur. I'm just wondering how you guys feel the first part of the season has gotten you ready for SEC play, and you guys started on the road a lot this year. How much can that help with starting on the road on New Year's Eve against Ole Miss?
I think the first part of the season has gotten us pretty ready for it. Everyone's been working hard, trusting the process, and we've been going at it, and I think we're ready to face Ole Miss. Right now, of course, we're practicing, getting even more ready for them.
For Mike or Chris or both of you, the Limestone coach said the other night that, when you guys shoot well, you're really, really hard to beat. Obviously, the numbers kind of back that up. When you guys have shot well, you've won, better, you've won. When you haven't shot well, you've lost. Is there a way to what's the challenge, I guess, because you're not going to shoot lights out every game. What is the challenge, and what maybe do you guys need to do as front court guys to help this team, when shots aren't falling, to still come out with a win?
Like you said, when we haven't shot well during any game, we wasn't able to win the game. It's because of defense. We trust in our defense, and that's our defense that keep us in the game. All we gotta do is make sure that we come in the gym in the personal time, and get some shots up, as much as we can. So during the game, the shots gonna start falling. It's just a question of, getting the guys to the gym, find the basket, and just shooting, seeing the ball going through the net.
Yeah, exactly what Chris said. And also during the game, if the shots aren't falling, then of course us as front court guys, we have to go out there and rebound and try to get second chance opportunities for us to get more shots up.
Where have you guys seen maybe improvement from the beginning of the year from David Beaty until now? Obviously, he's coming off of, pretty good performance or, decent performance at Clemson, and then he carried that into 16 points the other night against Limestone. what's been a big stride that you guys have seen from him individually?
Executing, doing what the coach asks him to do. Coming out of the high school, freshmen, they won't play one-on-one basketball and don't really know the offense or how to operate within the offense. So I think he has improved a lot in following the direction and executing during the offense and giving what the coach asks him to do.
He's matured a lot during his time here. Like Chris said, he started off as more of a one-on-one player, but throughout his time, he's become more team-oriented. He's driving to create opportunities for others and also for himself. So he's become a really aggressive player that plays according to our system.
Frank said the biggest curve with him is not maybe offensively, but it's defense and breaking some bad defensive habits. You guys obviously have gone through it as freshmen, in Frank's system and learning that defense. How much of a challenge is that? How long did you think it took you guys to kind of grasp everything about that defense? And where do you think David is kind of in that stage?
Our defense is five-man playing as one, if one person try to gamble or like being out of play, the four other players is gonna be in trouble. So it's gotta be five people connected on the court, acting as one. So like that, coming out of high school, they don't know how to play that defense. So we try to learn, teach them as much as possible what to do, and they learn. They did a good job, like listening, the coaches and the players and everybody else, and try to execute during the games and practices.
Any more questions for these guys?
If that works for me.
Okay. We'll have Frank on in just a second.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks, man.
Yo, you guys need me for something?
Hey, Frank, was wondering if we could talk to you for a few minutes about start of conference play.
You sure you don't want to talk about Will and my applying for the offensive coordinator job?
That'd be great. Can we go and quote you on that and consider you a definite candidate?
I don't know. Everyone says my offense stinks in basketball. I might as well try it in football.
Frank, just looking ahead at first Ole Miss specifically, what has Andy got over there this year that is maybe a concern to you guys before you pack up?
Just experienced guard play. The kid Tyree, as last year, he was a freshman last year, and if you remember the first 15, 16 games of the season, he was non-existent, and then all of a sudden, the last 8, 9 games of the year, he took off. And he's real good. Burnett, fifth-year senior, proven NCAA high-level scorer. The kid Davis, 6'7", athletic as can be, has become an elite shooter, 3-year guy. Devontae Schuler, local kid, phenomenal player. Also, going through some ups and downs as a freshman, but that young man is wired to score. I know I'm leaving somebody out right now, but he just his guard play is real good, and obviously our guard play is all new. So trying to figure out a way to figure out a way to get a par there. It would be real important for us to have success.
Frank, looking at that, I think you said the other night after Limestone that point guard play was your biggest concern. Is there one thing that Hassani or the other guys just aren't getting that's kind of holding that spot back?
No, it's just that they never, they've never had to accept the responsibility of playing point guard under me. It's just, that's it. And, they both have played well at times, and they'll both play well moving forward. Right now, I'm not including Corey because Corey is out with the injury. But Wes has played well for us. Hassani's played well for us. Both of them will continue to play well for us, and and it's they just have to be more consistent with their approach, with their understanding, with the clarity of what I need them to do. So just one of those things.
Frank, you mentioned obviously kind of guarding the ball being an issue throughout non-conference play and things of that nature, and defense overall. Where do you think you guys are on that side of the ball? We talked about the offense and point guard play and stuff like that. Where are you defensively in terms of where you want to be heading into SEC play?
We're a lot better than we were 6 weeks ago, and that to me is the most important part. Is it where it needs to be at? No, but that's the way it works. And I'm all about people getting better. I'm all about people improving. We have improved tremendously on defense, and that's my whole goal, to keep pushing in that direction. And the guys have been receptive. There's some inconsistencies that come with freshmen. They've never been asked to do that before. And it's not that they had bad coaches. It's not what I'm insinuating. It's just that they don't play the level of players that they practice against and then play against in games at the high school level, but maybe 10% of their games or practices. And so they're not used to having the focus, the effort, the consistency to find success that they have to get to a practice, and then definitely to help us figure out a way to win a game.
Frank, it's Dave again. Looking at just this 18-game schedule with the SEC, have you talked to your new guys about how much of a grind this can be and playing 2 days a week, and sometimes you got to travel in both games, or is that just something that you kind of let play out as the season goes on?
Yeah, I mean, if I spoke to them about it the way you just worded it, they'd probably go home and start crying. We do speak about it, but we speak about it in a different way. We speak about it about how much fun conference play is, because everyone knows what the other team does. Everyone knows pretty much personnel. There's no surprises. So it's a matter of you knowing what they're doing and them knowing what you're doing, which team's going to have the most discipline to be able to still execute their game plans. And when you play a team a second time, which you get to do in conference play, which you really don't do in non-conference play, we had that opportunity in Western Michigan. There's some tweaks, some changes that you have to make from game A to game B. And, how willing and how able are you to make those adjustments? So that's the way we kind of prepare them. And we tell them now that every team takes it up another level as far as effort, discipline, excitement, because it is league play. And everything we do is based on our ability to try and figure out a way to compete for a league championship. We started doing this 5 years ago and change whenever I got here. And that's all we ever talk about. And so that gets started here on Sunday. And we got to go out and not worry about 18 games, worry about one game, and just be consumed with Ole Miss right now.
Frank, Andrew again from the state. You talked about, or the Limestone coach the other day mentioned that, when South Carolina shoots the ball well, they're going to be really, really tough to beat. Obviously, kind of the numbers back that up. When you guys have shot the ball well, you've won the majority of your games, and you've lost how do you know, where is this team in terms of kind of grinding out those wins, you know, when you're not shooting 45, 50% from the floor and having to kind of manufacture victories other ways?
Yeah, I mean, it's just patience. I told you guys before the season that this is probably going to be the best shooting team I've had. I know some of you guys think that I just kind of said something that I felt like saying, and it's not true. Look at how many different guys have made multiple threes in a game for us this year. That's more than at any time during my coaching career. It's a matter of continuing to work so everyone understands where the shots are at, be more consistent with how we screen, how we cut, be cleaner with our passes. So then the guys that we have, the multiple guys that we have that are shot makers, can be a little more consistent in that shot making. And then the last part to that is where it starts and ends with our basketball team. Chris and Maik have to be productive at the rim for us. They both can play, you know, Chris can make 15, 17-foot shots. He's made threes for us this year. Maik can shoot from 15 to 17. He's made threes for us, and he plays real good off the dribble. But at the end of the day, those are two big, strong kids. They have to score. If you think about the Limestone game, early in the game, Maik and Chris missed all their shots inside. So all of a sudden, we look like we're not playing well offensively. In the second, towards the end of the first half, and to start the second half, Maik punished their guys scoring around the rim. All of a sudden, our team creates separation. Threes start going in the basket. It all starts and ends with scoring at the rim for all the good teams. Maik and Chris have to do that for us, and as they do that, then hopefully we can become more consistent as far as a perimeter shooting team.
Hey, Frank, it's John from the Big Spur. I'm just wondering what you think of David Beaty's play through 12 games this year and how important he'll be at the start of SEC play, especially with Corey out for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, David's awesome. You know, David's got an enthusiasm for life, an enthusiasm for competing. I like David a lot. I think David's going to be a phenomenal player for us. He's has a better understanding offensively. David's wired to go, so he's used to just catching the ball and saying, I'm going. Well, that doesn't work in college that easy, but you can't take that edge off of him. So I've had to understand him. He's understanding what I want a little better. So we've been able to do more things that kind of fit more into his comfort level at this stage of his career, so he can be more aggressive. And then defensively, he wants to defend. It's not that he doesn't want to defend. He is passionate about defending. He just has to learn that there's some things that he can do in high school that when he does them in college, people make him pay. And, and it's, who he reminds me of defensively? Chris Silva when he got here. Just over-anxious, over-aggressive. Kind of what you saw from Chris the other night against Limestone. Just, silly fouls that put the team in a tough spot. And the biggest reason Chris as a freshman couldn't play more minutes was his inability to be consistent defensively because of his over-aggression. And David has some of that. But he's a unbelievable competitor, tremendous enthusiasm. I can tell you what I'm starting to watch happen. He's taking ownership of this basketball team with his personality. And as he continues to do that, his game will continue to grow.
Hey, Frank, it's Colin Taylor from Gamecock Central. You talked a little bit about Chris and Maik and how important is maybe their offensive rebounding and getting second chance points in terms of helping this team and helping their offensive game, and where do you kind of judge where they are right now in terms of that?
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. It's a big part of every team I've ever coached, offensive rebounding. It's something that we have not been as good as we need to. Justin from the 3 spot has been a little inconsistent. When we slide Booker to the 3 spot, no one's ever asked him to rebound before offensively, so it's something that's new to him. He needs to do better there, and I've got to help him learn how to do that better. And then, Chris and Maik, where it's been a little hurtful for us, and I shouldn't say hurtful, that's not the right word, where it hasn't been as productive for us, is Maik, for as good a player as he is and as much as he does for our team, rebounding, he is not something he's done well early in the season. He's got to be better there. And then when we come off the bench, Felipe rebounds certain basketballs. He's got to learn how to go after more basketballs. And that also is kind of a learning thing for him because he can really shoot the basketball. Everyone's always asked him to play outside the three. Well, it's hard to rebound the ball if you're standing outside the 3-point line. So it's something that he's trying to learn how to do, and he'll continue to learn and get better at. But that's those guys getting on the glass offensively is a big, big part of what we teach and what we coach.
And I guess kind of sticking with that, do you coach offensive and defensive rebounding differently? And are there any kind of big things that are different when you're trying to rebound the ball offensively than opposed to maybe if you were on the defensive end of the court?
Yeah, offensive rebounding, you're facing the basket. So you can see the track of the ball, and you have to learn how to chase the ball and how to take advantage of the angles in the boxing out and all that stuff. Defensive rebounding, you're never facing the basket. So you have to face the offensive player. On defense, you're put on rotation sometimes. That means people attack you, so you have to rotate, and then shots are taken, and you have to figure out who you're boxing out. You can't just stand there and stare at the ball in the air, or else the offensive player is going to have the advantage. So, yes, they're completely different things that have to be taught. And, Sindarius was a 6'5" player that averaged 7 rebounds a game for us last year. Came up with big-time offensive rebounds and learned how to defensive rebound. Michael Carrera the same way. Michael was a great offensive rebounder, and he wasn't as good defensive rebounder when he got here. When he left here, he was pretty balanced. So it's what we work on. It's a matter of repetition, and guys it's another skill that's learned. Rebounding, if you have the will to rebound, then there's a skill that you have to learn on how to go get the rebound. And we got guys that are willing rebounders. Now we have to just help them and teach them.
Frank, it's Dave again. Outside of Corey, is everybody else healthy?
Yeah, we're good to go. Everyone's healthy. Everyone's, knock on wood. I don't want to go into Ole Miss down another man, but everyone's good to go. Hey, before I forget, just one thing I do want to tell you guys about, because I've been telling you that I was going to deal with all this during the Christmas break, and I have. Rakim and I have gotten to a good place. My bosses and I have had that conversation. Everyone is on board with him becoming a part of our school again, starting here in January. That date has not been set. I have made the decision that Rakim will not play this year. There's certain things that I am asking Rakim to do before I allow him to be a part of our day-to-day basketball team again. Those are things that I'm going to keep in private for now. Rakim will not be available to the media while we're going through this stage because he's not playing. But I love him as a kid, and I feel an unbelievable responsibility because of how honest and how loyal he's been to me and to this school to help him. He made a bad mistake, a mistake that hurts me deeply. But at the same time, I've got an 18-year-old son. I want whoever my son ends up trusting in during his college career, I would want that coach to discipline him, to deal with him, but at the same time, not throw him out there to the wolves. And that's, Rakim has dealt with pain for his mistakes in a serious manner. He's impacted a lot of people in ways that have hurt people. He understands that. I understand that. His teammates understand that because our team has also been impacted by his decisions. So it is what it is, but we've made the decision that we will allow him back, and no one else, made the decision that he will not. He is eligible to play if I chose to play him. I made the decision that he will not play this year, and he understands. He's an unbelievable young man, and I'm excited to see if I can continue to help him become a better person before we worry about him playing basketball.
Frank, appreciate you updating us on that.
Yeah, thank you. I don't like speaking on stuff when it's PG. When I'm gonna give you the information, I need it to be rated R, so you guys know the whole thing.
Anything else for Frank, you guys?
I think we're good, Em. Thanks so much for this.
Yeah. Thanks, Frank.
Everybody.